Hey,
Well, you are.
it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so I would like to touch on the religious fundamentalist aspect.
Yeah.
Are you an atheist?
I'm a Reformed Jew. I don't have a strong belief in the existence of God, but I don't think that religion in and of itself is bad.
Okay, so what's wrong with religious fundamentalists? So like when you said trans rights and women's rights or something like that?
Well, the problem I have with religious fundamentalists, and really more, I guess it's really theocrats.
Okay.
Yeah, they're taking people's rights away, like I explained earlier. They're taking away people's rights in favor of their own rights. You don't have a right to discriminate against me. They're trying to take that anyway. They're trying to discriminate against people, and they're using their religious beliefs as a cover, as a protection, as a shield, so that they can discriminate against people. They're sidestepping the law and using religious freedom to do it. I'm sure that people probably noticed by now. I'm sure you guys probably noticed, but you can take anything, any single issue, and you can interpret the law to mean literally anything based on that. By the way, the algorithm is hitting me hard right now, completely ignoring me. So I'd appreciate if you watched to the end of the video. Having increased watch time as a percentage and a raw number is what pushes the video further. Also check out my books, owenmorgan.com. All right, back to the video. Start with the Second Amendment. Second Amendment says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Pretty clear what that meant. It meant states can keep standing armies. The purpose behind it originally was they were supposed to act as slave patrols to prevent slaves from escaping and moving north. We obviously don't need that anymore, but it's in the Constitution. And we have a protection, and we have that now. It's called the National Guard. The National Guard exists. If I want, I can reinterpret it and kind of shove ridiculous nonsense in to my heart's content by saying, well, I am the regulated militia. Every single individual is a militia in his own right. That is not what that means. That has no connection to reality whatsoever. But you can reinterpret it that way, I suppose. That's what's happening with religious freedom, quote unquote, right now. They're interpreting everything. They're reinterpreting everything to give themselves an advantage so they can do literally whatever they want under the guise of religious freedom, up to and including killing people, I'm not saying they're pushing for that, but they would be able to do that under this religious freedom stuff. Like, you don't have the right to take a 12-year-old kid to a mountaintop and strap him to a table and cut his heart out and sacrifice him to the sun every day. That's not covered in religious freedom. But religious fundamentalists are reinterpreting the Constitution so that it is protected. So they can do literally anything under the protection of the First Amendment, under the protection of, like, religious freedom. As he said, RFRA, Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Dude, I'm just lost. This game is, like, really frustrating in the sense that you just get lost all the time. There's no explanation for where to go, and there are, like, hidden walls and broken stuff, and it's just, like, nonsensical and confusing as shit.
That they want to impose their morality that comes from their religion on the rest of us, and I don't. But
morality, from your view, is going to be a preference, right? It's not morality; it's a preference.
I don't understand what he means by that.
So morality without a foundation is going to reduce you to a preference.
Well,
oh my God, dude. He's saying you are not a moral person. You just prefer certain things. You're not moral because you don't have objective morality, i.e. your morality is not based on the Bible. Guy, I mean, I hate to tell you, brother, but your morality is not based on the Bible either, because that's not how morality works. You find in the book what you want to believe. That's how it has always worked. People have always found verses in the book that they like the most. Yeah, dude, I am so lost. I have no clue what's going on in this game. That is, like, really, really frustrating. I can't get through this yet. Everybody on every side of every single war in the Western world, in the United States at the very least, They have always justified their positions by using different Bible verses. I think that slavery is okay because, the Old Testament talks about slavery. And the other people were saying, I think slavery is wrong because the Bible says that you got to love your neighbor as yourself, and blah, blah, blah. Everybody is always justifying their beliefs with the Bible.
I have a foundation for my morality.
Which is what?
It's a humanist vision of what basically creates as little suffering as possible for as many people.
Okay, so you're like a consequentialist?
No, that's not consequentialism. I'll tell you where my moral foundation sits. As little suffering as possible, as they say that with the trolley problem, for example. You got 2 train tracks. You've got a switch, the lever that you can pull. If you pull it to the left, the lever goes down the left track. If you pull it to the right, the train goes down the right track. On the left track, there are 5 people tied up at the end of the train. And on the right track, there is 1 person tied up. If you pull it to the left, you kill 5 people. If you pull it to the right, you kill 1 person. So what do? Everybody will obviously choose to save the 5 people rather than the 1 person. Because saving the maximum number of human lives is ideal in everybody's morality for the most part. Not everyone's, I guess. Anyway, there's an addendum, or there's like a modifier to the trolley problem that goes like this. You're in a doctor's office, and you see that there are a total of 6 people there in the waiting room. One of them needs a liver transplant. One of them needs a lung transplant. One needs a kidney. One needs, a spleen or whatever. They all need something. And the 6th person is perfectly healthy. He's there just for a routine checkup. Now, in the context of the trolley problem, the moral thing to do would be to kill the 1 person to save the other 5, right? Except that you don't want to be that 1 person in the waiting room. And for that reason, we as a society value bodily autonomy very much. Bodily autonomy is maybe more important than quote unquote freedom, as people like. Bodily autonomy might be more important than freedom of speech. With the Holocaust, for example, it was wrong for many, many reasons, but eugenics, the claim is that they want to they want to birth babies that are maximally healthy, right? They want to make sure that the maximum number of people in their society are healthy and they're doing well and everything else. That's like the claim on the surface, right? That's what they claimed that they were trying to do with eugenics. It's not a bad thing in its own right necessarily to try to have, healthy children, a healthy society and everything. There's a gene that when 2 certain Jewish people have a child, it's dangerous for that child because it can transmit a very specific disease that is, that causes massive suffering. So a lot of the time, Jewish people, before they get married, they will have this gene test to make sure that, they won't produce a kid with this terrible genetic malformity. Nothing wrong with that inherently. The problem is that you're taking people's choices away now. Like with the Holocaust, you are forcing people to do what you want. You are forcing people not to marry who they want to marry. You're forcing people to die in these concentration camps and things. The problem is that people have had their bodily autonomy removed. The 6 people in the waiting room, it's preferable for them the 5 of them to die than for the 1 person to lose their bodily autonomy. And that's nearly everyone's morality. Just about everybody feels that way in the United States. So I have a combination principle that I kind of lean into. And my combination of principles goes like this: maximize happiness, minimize suffering, but bodily autonomy comes before all of it. That's how I view it. That's my moral foundation, and I think that's pretty much everyone's moral foundation, honestly. It's just a lot of people add things into that moral foundation beyond what I've listed, like And the Bible says that gay people should go to hell. And the Bible says blah, blah, blah. Slavery is wrong. Some of them say slavery is right, all that stuff. They add modifiers in, which is what this guy is doing. He pretty much holds my exact moral beliefs, plus all this stupid shit.
Utilitarian?
I don't really bother myself with being a consequentialist or a utilitarian.
I didn't actually know what a lot of this stuff was until a while back. I read about it a bunch because I kept hearing people like him talk about it. But consequentialism is an ethical theory that judges actions based on their consequences. It states that the morally right action is the one that produces the best overall results. That's what consequentialism is. Kant invented categorical imperative, and here's how it went for him. An action's moral worth depends on following universal moral rules or duties based on reason, not the consequences or emotions. So, for example, lying is bad, period. Lying is bad. That is a moral position that one can hold. And violating that moral position for any reason, under any circumstances, is immoral. Even if that means you're hiding a Jewish person in your attic during World War II and Nazis come along. The moral thing is to not lie. So morally, one would have to tell the Nazis that you're hiding a Jewish person because you don't know what the after effects or what the consequences will be of the lie. It may be worse. It may set a butterfly effect in motion that will make a mess of everything. So the only moral decision is the one built on basically objective morality and objective framework. Lying is wrong. That's Kantian moral belief. Consequentialism, as I said, basically judges actions based on their consequences. Is lying wrong? Usually. If you're lying because you cheated on your spouse, that's wrong. If you're lying to protect a Jewish person, that's right. You are morally right to do that. Is it wrong to steal food to feed your family? Many people, in theory, would say, no, that's not wrong. In practice, they would say, yes, that's absolutely wrong. But anyway, that's consequentialism. That's my point. Utilitarianism, on the other hand, is the other thing that he mentioned. Utilitarian is a doctrine that actions are right if they are useful or for the benefit of the majority. As he described here, reduce suffering, have as little suffering as possible. And, the real answer is some of these are right and some of them are not. It's a mix. It's invariably a mix. We should, on occasion, lie to protect Jews from, being attacked or whatever. We should, on occasion, do organ donation, taking organs out of people with their consent, of course, but sometimes taking organs out of people is acceptable. Other times it's not. That's generally how it works for me. That's my moral framework. So I am a utilitarian as long as bodily autonomy is respected. That's my moral position.
I don't really bother myself with being a consequentialist or a utilitarian.
It's always going to reduce you to a preference. So if you say that killing is wrong and I say it's right, you would really have no contention with that.
Well,
no, he's saying that he doesn't have objective morality, and that's true because nobody has objective morality, because objective morality doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination.
No, I don't base my understanding of civil society on religion. And so we have a civil society. Okay. We have laws that we have decided as a society in a democratic way. And for some people, it's okay for it to be informed by their religion. That's okay.
Okay, perfect. So if tomorrow...
Yeah, law and morality are not the same thing and should not be the same thing. I think it's immoral to... I don't know. What do I think that it is immoral that I think should be allowed? I think it's immoral to take a kid to church and brainwash them from a young age. But should it be illegal? No. I mean, that's the whole bodily autonomy, choices for your own life bit, right? I don't think that should be illegal. They're different.
And for some people, it's okay for it to be informed by their religion. That's okay.
Okay, perfect. So if tomorrow society comes together and we say, hey, trans folks don't deserve rights, you would be okay with that?
No, he says Sam is a utilitarian. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess in this case, he's trying to pigeonhole Sam into a specific moral belief or whatever, when Sam didn't say that. He didn't say he believes that. He didn't say that he's this thing or that thing. Invariably, everybody's a mix of everything for the most part.
No, I would be against it, but I mean, it would be
morally right under your view.
not morally right. No.
Where is he getting this?
No, I'm not talking about morals.
Okay,
here.
so here's where I'm getting to, right? Religious foundations provide an ethical framework for one to live their life off
I
of.
believe you can
But they don't.
have an ethical framework without
and
religion.
if we take the leftist view to its logical tail end, to its extreme view, you have low reproductive birth rates. You have a reproductive dead end, so two men together can't reproduce unless they have to take from a healthy straight couple.
Is it weird to anybody else that he is like hyper focused on reproduction? Is reproduction moral? Inherently moral? I don't understand. What? Oh, dude, this is also interesting. I gotta write this down. 2740. Dude thinks reproduction is inherently moral. Like, what?
Religion provides this foundation where you do prioritize the nuclear
So
family.
do you have a problem with gay people being married?
It's not that I have a problem. I just don't see a justification for why they ought to be gay outside of it just feels good.
Okay, great. Then it's none of your fucking business. It's not that I don't want... Why don't you just be honest? Everybody knows that you fucking hate gay people. Everybody is fully aware of that fact. Just be truthful. Don't hide it. Don't lie about it. You are right now arguing that gay people should not be allowed to get married. Come out and say it. What are you, like, afraid to espouse your real opinions on this? Tell us what you think.
Can you give me another justification for it?
Well, I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Freedom! That's the answer. Freedom. Bodily autonomy. Make your choices. And you, sir, have no goddamn place to tell me what my choices can or can't be, unless I am taking rights away from others or seriously damaging society in some irreversible way. Like, I don't know, like stealing or something. I don't know, whatever.
Another justification for it?
Well, I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Okay, what about pedophiles? Are they born that way?
They may be, yeah.
Okay, so should we let a pedophile off the hook since they were born that way?
No.
I'm not sure why we're suddenly equating gay people to pedophiles. Like, how did we get there exactly? I missed the logical leap.
I think we as a society
Should implement duties to prevent them
Oh
from
my God, shut the fuck up and let him answer.
hook since they were born that way?
No, I think we as a society
Should implement duties to prevent them from acting on that innate urge, correct?
No. To prevent them from hurting others. To prevent them from damaging society. Now, we can look at the literature, the psychological literature, and find that it's mentally damaging to kids to be in that kind of relationship with anybody else until a certain point. If I remember correctly, I believe that 15 years old is where it's kind of a logarithmic scale, if I remember, where 15 is still pretty emotionally damaging. They may not even realize it, the kid. They may not even realize that this is potentially emotionally damaging. But by 15, it starts getting less emotionally damaging for people, especially depending on an age gap. 16 is less emotionally damaging than 15. 17 is less than 16, so on. And 18 is pretty safe, assuming all other things are equal, like they're not being taken advantage of by somebody and lied to or something. It's just a normal relationship, then that's fine. Being gay does not cause that type of damage. That doesn't happen. There is no damage for being gay. There's no damage, emotional or otherwise, to anybody for anything. It's just not harmful. And being a freedom-loving American as I am, I believe people should be able to make choices for themselves, and you should stay out of it completely, because it's none of your fucking business what people choose to do with their own lives.
Well, I think between consenting adults, it's a different thing than...
Okay, so you're okay with a 45-year-old dad with a 19-year-old daughter as well? And
that's potentially harmful to society, just like pedophilia is. Incest is potentially very dangerous for society. Oh my God, I almost... Okay, he didn't see me. I'm going to run out of juice here if he doesn't go away. There we go. Anyway, incest is potentially very damaging for society and shouldn't be allowed for that reason alone. So, pedophilia is dangerous for society. Incest, dangerous for society. Being gay, not dangerous for society.
incest.
No.
If they consent, you're okay with that?
No, I think society is also determined that it's like it's not beneficial.
Right. There's duties and obligations that we have. So religion provides those duties. Like
No, it doesn't. Religion does not provide any framework or any whatever. You have found verses in your holy book that you think back up your position. That's about as far as it goes. And you've chosen which ones you like the most. Do you eat shellfish? Do you eat pork? If you do eat those things, I can't help but wonder if this guy would thank the Bible for getting it right. If we really did find out that those things were like detrimental, like 50% of the people that eat pork die every single time, and they have throughout history. I can't help but wonder if he would thank the Bible for giving him that secret information and using that as like a, part of his moral framework or whatever other nonsense. He's cherry picking the things that he thinks are the most meaningful, the most valuable, the most important.
life isn't about freedom and exercising what you want.
I mean, well, you want to impose your religious doctrine
No,
on me,
because
and I don't want that.
you just admitted we need duties. We have responsibility as a society to keep us functioning, to keep us thriving. Your leftist view, the liberal view, doesn't provide anything besides it just makes me feel good. Religion does. So what's your argument?
I feel I've provided an argument pretty adequately here for my position. Bodily autonomy and maximizing happiness.
It's my argument as to why I don't want
You have no
your
contention.
religion to... Well, because first of all, I don't think that you have the right to corner what God is telling us is right or wrong. And there are differences between religions. And so my argument is, you're not going to keep halal or kosher, right? I mean, I don't believe that someone has a corner on religious truth. And the reason why we have a democracy is because we didn't want a king. And the kings came from the idea that their God said that they're the ones who's supposed to be king. And so we can disagree on this. I don't want to live in a country that is ruled by religious fundamentalism.
And if I do, you have no issue with that.
And no. And
no, you have to work within the confines of the rest of society. You want to live within a religious theocracy, then create one for you and whoever else is willing to live under it. But you don't have a right to impose it on me. This is exactly what I was talking about previously, where they're using religious freedom to justify oppressing others, to justify taking other people's rights away, is what they're doing right now.
And this is why I say, under Trump, yes, you have won.
Yes.
You have a
Only
bunch
male
of
and
Christian,
female. You're right.
You have a Christian nationalist, and
which is necessary.
And
this guy is a complete sack of shit. I can see it clear as day. He is like vile. His beliefs, opinions, his positions on things, the way that he views other people in society is fucking vile, disgusting. Like, oh my God, this is depraved. Some of the shit that this guy very obviously believes.
I concede the point that under Trump, your Christian nationalism has gained an advantage under this.
Sorry, we're going to have more kids. We're going to have less abortions. We're going to have more family. We're going to have stable family house.
He's not even debating. He's just being a piece of shit. He's bragging that he's taking people's rights away. That's all he's doing right now. Like, what's the point here? Why are you doing this? I thought we were debating.
Sorry about better education.
gay people should be outlawed.
They should be straight. They should be straight.
Women should be secondary to their husbands.
Women
Holy shit, dude. This guy's just laying it all out for us, isn't he? Under Trump, gay people will be forced to be straight. Women will be oppressed. Trans people erased. I don't know how else to phrase that. Jesus, dude.
should submit to the husbands.
Women
That doesn't
should
mean they
submit to the
that doesn't mean they are
husbands.
slaves.
Right,
It doesn't
no,
mean they are.
I
It means they are
understand.
protected.
You
Okay,
got
let me ask you that. Let me ask you.
No.
Should
I
women
want
be
you-
drafted?
listen,
Should women be
listen,
drafted?
Listen, I think
If they're equal, should they be drafted?
My God, he needs to shut the fuck up and let someone else get a word in. Jesus.
I think this is the vision that you have, and I think Trump supports it.
Yeah.
I think the Christian nationalists he has throughout his government are all going to work towards your vision.
Yes.
And my hope is that when people look at this, they say, hey, wait a second. I don't want my life to be dictated by the notion of a Christian nationalist prescription. Now, you may win out. I mean, certainly, like if you look at a country like Iran, they have a theocracy there, and that.
Yeah, like every country that has a theocracy, Muslim included, basically mirrors nearly identically what Christian nationalists in the United States want. Like to a disturbing, weird degree. You know, subjugation of women and forcing them to observe the religion every week, going to church, banning certain substances based on your own personal beliefs or your religious beliefs, like banning alcohol, banning tobacco, banning porn. All this stuff is like stuff you can find in Islamic countries. And it's like, do you really want to live in a country like that? The answer is yes, they do. But have they thought this through? I mean, this is real disturbing shit, what some of these people want. Like this guy. Real disturbing shit what this guy wants specifically. Oh my God. Get help.
And apparently that's, good for them if they want it.
My final point is whenever
But I don't want to live in a
My final point is
theocracy.
whenever we see people live out Christian values to its full extent, we see a great society. When we see people deviate from that, that's where all the problems arise.
All right.
I think you are at home in the Trump. Trump.
Thank you very much.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Jesus, dude, these people are like really depraved, honestly. Some of the shit that we just heard was like psychotic, like really psychotic. Somebody says Christian Sharia. Yeah, that's what we just witnessed. We just witnessed somebody advocating for Christian Sharia law and reveling in the fact that it's on its way. Holy fucking shit, dude. I am of the personal opinion that if we just sat people down and explained, and we could get them to believe reality. Like if I could just sit anybody down in the United States and explain that, the black community is systemically oppressed and it's not anyone's fault necessarily, but if we take these steps, then there will be no ill effects to it and it will only help this situation be resolved or whatever. I believe if we sat someone down, we could guarantee that they absolutely would believe and understand the evidence. They'd come to the same conclusions as me. But this guy, I'm not sure that's the case with him, honestly. I don't think it is. I think this guy is just broken inside and ready to destroy everybody's life to have the life that he wants. That is just like... What I'm trying to say is, I don't think that most people are evil. I think they're mostly idiots. I believe this guy is evil, I think Ben Shapiro is not an idiot. I think he's just evil. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments.